What is up, guys? Welcome to the Militia gaming community. I'm Trigger and I make informative content on Forza Horizon 6 Motorfest and Need for Speed. This is my third installment of the Get Faster series in Forza Horizon 6, and I'm talking about the top 10 reasons why it's very hard to win in PvP for most players. Let's go. All right, before I get into the list, I made a video in my first video of the Get Faster series in which I talked about the basics of Horizon 6, meaning the basics of driving, like the lines, the braking, throttle control, that type of thing. Some of those things are things that I'm going to be talking about in this video as well, and I'm not going to be going into a ton of detail, but a lot of those reasons are on the list of reasons why you can't win PvP, so some of that stuff's mixed in. But what I've done here with this video is I've organized this list from 10 all the way up to 1. We're going to start with 10. 10 being the least in your control, meaning something that you really need to be aware of, but maybe not focus on right away. And 1 being the most in your control and the thing that's the most important for you to focus on as you progress your skills here in Horizon 6. So with that said, let's get started at number 10. Starting in the back. This obviously is not your fault. You have no control over this, and it almost instantly takes you out of the running to win the race, barring some sort of like catastrophic event for the people in the front. The back half of the pack, particularly in a full lobby when you have 12 people, puts you at a significant disadvantage, and it's not your fault. You have to do extra in order to win. I don't want you to think I can't win, but I do want you to understand that you can't be down on yourself for not winning when you started in the back. Now, obviously, if you make mistakes, you can get down on yourself for that because that's stuff you can correct. But what you can't correct is your starting position. And even though the game has a ghosting period of 26 seconds or so, it doesn't make up for the fact, though, that when you're on a sprint that's all highways, it's almost impossible to catch up, particularly in spec racing. Now, if you have an overpowered car, or your car is just faster than everybody else's, obviously that makes sense. So I don't want people in the comments like, hey, I can still win in the back. I know you can win in the back, but the point is, if you start in the back, you're definitely at a disadvantage. At number 9, also out of your control, you get unfairly rammed a lot. This is part of the game. It's part of Horizon 6. It's part of the racing culture here. And hopefully as time goes on, that sort of goes away or mellows out, but it happens to me too. I've got plenty of clips of me being rammed, and as soon as it happens and you hit a wall, you're taken out and you really don't stand a chance at winning. If this happens to you in a race, don't blame yourself. That's really the bottom line. At number 8, you crashed or missed the checkpoint. Now, obviously, this is in your control. This is generally about car control, and car control is something you're going to get better with in time or by watching some of my Get Faster videos. The real fix to this is to not quit the game. If you get frustrated because you're missing checkpoints and the penalty feels too unfair, you really just need to improve, which again, takes time. Just don't quit. At number 7, when you're racing, not in spec racing, maybe just in the regular racing, the Horizon racing, maybe the custom racing, your car and tune. Car and tune absolutely matters. And a quick fix to this is really to turn to the community. Go to Discord, go to the tune browser and pick yourself out a good tune. Test the tunes, put them on the test course, drive them around, see which one feels the best to you. And look to content creators and members of the community that are showing you what the best, fastest cars are for each class, and make sure you have them. That's a basic one. If you don't have the best cars, if you're not using the meta, you can't really complain about not being as fast as another car when that other car happens to be the fastest car in the class. If you knowingly put yourself at a disadvantage by using a slower car, you really can't complain, right? Moving on. At number 6, impatience. Impatience causes all kinds of problems, but most notably, you need to stop trying to pass every single moment of the race. You need to wait for the right time and make that pass stick without having to endanger yourself by doing so. That means stop trying to pass in the middle of a turn by taking a wider or shorter line, which could possibly put you in the wall or have you miss a checkpoint. Just be patient, wait for the right time, drive consistently, and the person in front of you might make a mistake. And when that happens, you're going to be ready to make that pass clean and fast. The faster you can pass somebody and not be side to side, the less danger you're going to be in. At number 5, default settings. This is 100% within your control. If you're still using default settings for this game, this is a problem. The default settings in Horizon 6 are quite bad. The cars don't feel good and they need to be adjusted. So here are the settings that I recommend for every beginner, and then you can tweak things to your liking. At number 4, track knowledge. Now, track knowledge actually comes with time, but if you have poor track knowledge, you really don't have any idea how fast you can push your car in any given section or any given turn. This takes time as well. But in the meantime, if you don't know the tracks by heart or you're not recognizing certain turns, I strongly recommend racing with the full racing line on. Now, this just gives you an idea of where to be on the track so that you're never really out of position. And if you're too far inside or too far outside, you're going to be able to know that because you have the full racing line on. Don't let anyone in the community push you around or tell you anything differently about using the full racing line. This is information that you can use to help yourself go faster, so use it. At number 3, bad decision making. You need to stop putting yourself in a position to get rammed, thrown off a checkpoint, or otherwise compromised by others. It's important for you to understand where everyone is on the course. I actually just did a video talking about how to avoid other players. It's really, really important. It's one of my top 3 reasons why people fail, and it's important to learn. So you can go back to the second Get Faster video if you haven't seen it already and take a look at some of those tips. At number 2, fighting in the turns. This one is kind of really important. If you're fighting in the turns, even if you're at the front of the pack with another player, you guys are going slower, bottom line, which means you're exposing yourself to getting passed by the third place player. Now, I'm not saying this is always the scenario. You could be like middle of the pack and still fighting with people in the turns, and that's obviously making you go slower, and then, you know, your chances of winning are just not good anyway. So the point is, this is my number 2 reason people fight in the corners too much. Everybody wants the same line. Everybody wants the same part of the checkpoint. Everybody wants to start wide and hit the apex and, you know, end wide. Everyone wants to do that. Know that as you're going into these races, and try to position yourself either behind or in front of people before the turn. Watch the mini map, see what's coming up, see where you need to be, and plan ahead. If you do that and you put yourself in a good position, then the chances of you getting rammed are far less. And the chances of you colliding with somebody, missing a checkpoint, hitting a wall are also far less. Plan ahead and stop fighting people in the turns. And the number 1 reason why, in my opinion, you can't win a PvP race is bad braking, and mostly braking while turning. A lot of people, I see it all the time, they brake in the middle of the turn because they feel like they're going too fast for the turn. Your job is to make sure you're not going too fast for the turn before the turn. Brake in a straight line. I can't stress this enough. This game has a very sensitive braking model, and if you don't have any brake upgrades, particularly in like spec racing where the cars are not really upgraded, you kind of have a lot of weight shift happening, and you've got this instant feel of the brakes. If you brake and turn at all, you're gonna lose the back end. And I just can't stress, this is a huge problem. It slows you down in the corners. It makes you hit walls. It makes you spin out. It makes you drift when you're not supposed to. And guess what you're not doing when you're drifting? You're not accelerating. Braking in the turn is the wrong thing to do. You need to brake in a straight line before the turn. Now, this also helps with getting rammed in the turns. When people are directly behind you, if you brake early, they hit you, and it slows them down also, and then they can't hit you in the middle of the turn, which puts you into the wall. Now, I'm not saying you need to brake check people. I'm just saying if you plan your braking according to where people are, you're gonna have a much more successful time through the corners. Brake in a straight line, accelerate through the corner. All right, I know this wasn't like an in-depth video of each of these topics. I do plan to cover most of this stuff individually in separate videos later on down the line. I'm trying to do at least one of these a week for you, and this is more of like an expanded video on that first video because I really felt like there was a lot of things that I think people are missing, particularly as I spend more time in multiplayer. I'm watching a lot of really bad behaviors. So I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, you can send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. I read every single message. That's an honest statement. I've been doing it the entire time my channel's been alive, and I'm going to continue to do it. So send me a message if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.